friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Purva and we are setting webpack for React application. In the last few videos, we configured it for development. Mode was set to development. Today we are going to set it for production mode. First change that I'm going to make, and before I even proceed, if you have not done it for development environment, watch my previous video. I'm going to continue on the assumption that you have already set up for development. So we are going to copy some stuff from this config.js and paste it in the production.js. First thing I'm going to do is to rename this webpack.config.js to webpack.dev.config.js. And I'm going to create another replica of this, simply copy and paste it. I'm going to rename it as prod.config.js. Having said that, we'll also need to make changes in our scripts in package.json. So go to your start script, webpack serve config webpack. Instead of webpack config.js, we will say webpack.dev.config.js, and in the build we'll say webpack.prod.config.js, so that when we run the production build, it builds the disk folder and it gives us the deployment bundle.js. Let's open our prod config and see what we do not need or the changes that we need to make. First and foremost, change the mode from development to production. And at the moment, I'm just rewriting the whole JS file. Of course, we can optimize it, which we will do at the end of the video. So keep watching until the end. We'll resolve all problems one by one. So first of all, we do not need this dev server. It's production. So let's skip this and save that. Okay, let's quickly go back to terminal and see if this works for us. I'm just going to show you npm run build and see what happens. So this is built successfully. Let's check what we get in the disk directory. Let's check our disk folder. This is generated once you run the build command, because we have given the path as path.resolve and given the name as disk. So everything that's need to be deployed, including bundle.js, it will be there in disk directory. You can also see it in VS Code if you want. So here's the disk directory, and you see there are 4 files: bundle.js, 364 bundle.js, 1 license files, and 1 index.html. This index.html is actually going to be what is going to be deployed. We are going to run npx serve locally to see if you deploy it in some domain, how it is going to look like. You can also simply deploy in Firebase, you have that set up, or if you can also deploy somewhere else and check it over there. So let's go here. This is deployed here. We need to check this folder. This is how it is going to look right now in my after the deployment. Okay, 404 request path could not be found. Again, this might not be the case if you are not using the folders or the HTML files, static HTML files in the public folder. Right now, if you see my public folder, it has some HTML files, like I'm using policy.html, and also this will not have these fav icon, logo. It will not read that. So if I show you the console, you will see some errors like fail to load resource, the server responded with 404. Before we fix that and jump into solution, let's see why it is happening. We do know that this folder is what is going to be deployed, and it does not have any of the contents of public directory. So of course this is bound to happen. In case of React, at least webpack configuration is a bit complicated. That's how I feel. You might feel differently, and I'm in favor of using some other frameworks, which I will do it later in some videos. But right now, because we are setting it up for the sake of just fixing it, let's do it. What we are going to do to fix this is copy the contents of public directory into the disk directory. For that, we are going to use a plugin which is called copy webpack plugin. So first you have to install it in the dev dependencies. Same command, npm install save dev copy webpack plugin. Once it is installed, go back to your prod.config.js, import copy plugin, After the import, we add it to the plugins list. Copy plugin takes a parameter called patterns where we define what you want to copy from to, and you can see the official documentation. I'm simply going to use from and show you how it is going to reflect in the directory. So I'm going to copy it inside public. So from public to public inside test. That's it. Once this is done, save it and let's see what happens. We are going to run build. Once this is successful, let's go and check the directory structure. So this is test. Inside that we do have the public folder. Everything that was inside our original public folder is now copied to this folder. So once the deployment is done using this folder, this will be there. Okay, this is done. Let's check locally if it is working fine. Go back to our local host, refresh it. Okay, right now it says that though it is checking at the right place, but it is still not found. Why? Because it is not directly inside root. Remember, we have copied it inside the public folder. We could have also copied everything directly in the disk folder, but then in that case there could be some conflict. Like for example, in this folder we already have index.html. In public folder we also have index.html, so that will create conflict. This is why we are using the public folder. Let's fix this. It's a quick fix, to be honest. There's one change that we have when we are deploying to production. Because we have copied all the contents in the public folder, instead of using empty public URL, we are going to use public, so that everything that is in public, manifest.json or index.html, is going to load from public folder inside this. So let's run npm run build, and then we serve. Okay, let's see. Cool, this is fixed. Everything works just fine. Now let's deploy it in Firebase. I have everything set up. If you do not have everything set up for Firebase, again, I have it in my videos. Watch them and subscribe for more. But for now, I'm just going to simply save it and show you if everything actually works in the production. So Firebase deploy. This will deploy my code very quickly to Firebase URL. Give me back or deployed hosting URL. Let's open this up. You can see everything is fine. There is no error in the console. We are good to go. There's one more thing which is bothering me. We have two webpack config.js, one for development and one for production. There's a lot of code which is replicated, and I want to use one common configuration. So let's fix this, optimize our code, which is really important. I'm going to use a framework called webpack merge and install it in the dev dependencies. Let's install it and then we do the configuration. This is installed. Let's create a file called webpack common.config.js. You can rename it as you like. Okay. And here we are going to store the common configuration. Rest for development specific, we are going to keep it in dev config.js. For prod specific, we are going to keep in prod config.js. Right now, the common config is just same as dev config. We'll make some changes, but I also want to mention that I'm following this official documentation from Webpack, which is very easy to follow. And if you want to have some quick reference, you can take it from here. So like I said, we created a common configuration. Let's see what is common and what can be omitted. Mode definitely should be different for dev and production, so I'm going to remove this. Second, let's see what else do we have. Okay, right now the common config is same as development. Let's remove some common things. Right now common config is exact replica of dev. Let's optimize this. Mode is definitely going to be different for both dev and production, so I'm going to remove that. Dev server is something which is just for development, so this is also not needed in the common config. One more thing, public URL is different for our dev configuration and production. So let's remove everything that is using public URL. And we also remove these imports. Okay, our common config is ready. Now we have to import it in our dev and prod config and optimize that. I want to mention that I'm using this official documentation from webpack, so if you want to take a reference, you can do that as well. I'll also copy some of the exports and imports. This will save some time. So here we will copy paste this. This is doing nothing much but importing webpack merge that we just installed and using the common configuration. In our case, this is named as webpack common.config.js. So I'm gonna fix this. Okay, what else? Mode is development. DevTool is something that if you want to use, then you can use it. If not, I've not used it yet, so I'm going to remove that, but it's up to you. Dev server configuration is something that I'm going to copy from previous dev file. Okay, what else? Everything else we have already moved it to common file. Mode is set. What is left is these plugins. So copy the plugins from here and then I'm going to paste it here. We do not need this common plugins, HTML webpack plugin and provide plugin. This is already configured in common, so let's remove this and rest of it can go. Let's remove the import which is not needed and we are good to go for dev. Similar for prod, we are going to copy from the official documentation which just simply exports mode, nothing much, and merges the common one. So copy it here. What is different in production is of course mode which is already there and then these plugins for us. So copy them. I'll remove the rest of the code. And I'll also remove these common plugins. Remove the imports. Perfect. This is all good to go. Go back to the terminal. We run npm start to check if our local deployment is ready. To make sure that the latest changes are delivered, I'm going to make some changes in the app.js file. So let's add another p tag which says this is customized webpack configuration. That's it. We saved it. npm start. Project is running in localhost, so I'm just going to open this URL. You see, this is successfully updated. Let's check our production code as well. npx serve. Before that, don't forget to run and build so that our this folder is updated. Okay, there is one error, webpack common.js. We forgot to fix the name of the file here. Let's quickly fix this. It's webpack common.config.js. Build it. This just takes few seconds and then we are going to run npx serve. Let's check the localhost. Test. Okay, this is also successfully set. Last but not the least, let's check Firebase deployment. You can also use automated deployment. I have that set up, but this is faster. I'm just gonna check it manually later when I will commit the code in my Git repository. This is going to be automatically going to Circle CI and then deploy it in Firebase. So this is here. Cool. You see, this is delivered. Everything is working. You might notice that this is not exactly looking like what is looking like in my local host. Style is not set properly. Right now, if you go to the common config.js, you will see we have only set use CSS loader. We can use another loader called style loader. That is the right way to do it. But if I do it right now, I'll end up in more issues. I will do it in the next video. So if you're facing such problems, do keep watching and subscribe for more.